Have you ever felt like you didn't fit in, didn't belong, or maybe were just too much for some? Girl, we get it. From motherhood and marriage to health, wellness, and faith, we're talking all the things. The messy, the meaningful, and the moments that make us laugh till tears stream down our legs, or just straight up cry. This is Women Around the Well with Jenna Hatula, a weekly podcast where women of all ages and stages share their stories to inspire, educate, and empower one another. Because life is unpredictable, faith is a journey, and let's be honest, some days you just need Jesus, good friends, and a space to be fully seen. All right, let's dive into this episode.
Well, hello, women around the well. This is your host, Jenna Hatula, and this is your preview for season 3. We're getting ready to kick off in a new year of 2026, but I could not wait for you to get to hear from a dear friend of mine. LeeAnn Britton is from here in South Florida. She's a dear friend. We've known each other for a couple of years now, and her story is so impactful. And as we get ready to start a new season, to start a new year, I just wanted to leave you with some inspiration. And her story is just that. It is truly inspiring. But before we go any farther, I'm just going to throw it over to LeeAnn and let her introduce herself. So LeeAnn, welcome to Women Around the Well.
Thank you so much, Jenna. I appreciate you asking me. I feel so honored to be chosen and just appreciative. I appreciate you and your support, your mentorship. You've inspired me so much, and God has used you for so many women, and I can't wait to see what else He has in store for you. But I just appreciate the difference you made in my life. But my name is LeeAnn Britton, and I was born and raised here reared, whatever that word is, here in South Florida. And I've lived here all my life, with the exception of a few years at college. I went away for college, and I'm married. My husband is a teacher, and we've been married, I think, 32 years. So a long time. We have one child, a daughter. She's 27. She lives in Virginia, sadly, but super excited for her. She just got a brand new job, so she's getting ready to start in January. So, I love crafting. I love gut health. I love helping people, and I love planning events and reading. So that's basically what I do.
I love it. So LeeAnn, we are not yet. If you're listeners and you're new to the podcast, you know that we're still working things out. We are not video yet, but if you can see LeeAnn, her face just shines so bright. She has the best smile and she giggles and it like warms up every space and always makes you feel so welcome and comfortable. So we're gonna have to just like figure this video thing out, LeeAnn, because I would love for our audience to be able to see the people that I get
Yes.
to talk to. You know, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
You've been married 32 or so years.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's a long time.
It is a long time.
It seems like not much, but then it seems like forever.
It feels like a blink. We
Yes.
just celebrated 30 years this summer ourselves. And people ask, well, gosh, when did you get married? I'm like really young. We were 18 and 19 when we got married. And so Kenny was in the Marine Corps, and there's a whole other story to that. But it feels like a blink of an eye. In some ways, it feels like forever. In other ways, it feels like a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
It just depends on the day.
It does. You're right. Yeah, it does. That's true.
Well, I would love for you to take us back to what a typical day looked like for you physically and emotionally before you started your health journey. Because this health journey you've been on has been on for a couple of years. But if you were to speak to our listeners, we're going to go back and I want you to share more about your story, where you were, what it felt like, what an average day looked like for you personally.
Okay. Well, all my life I've struggled with my health, my weight, etc. I had migraines starting when I was 8 years old. But about 5 years ago, I actually started having some very severe health issues. I had like an attack at my aunt and uncle's house. We were out of town and just severe pain, couldn't figure out. And so after that, things just got worse, went to all the doctors and all of that. They couldn't figure it out. So pretty much my days were, I was a piano teacher that time. I had been a school teacher for high school before I retired from that as a piano teacher. I would be in my bed, and at the last minute as possible, I would leave to go to work, and usually with tears in my eyes because I was hurting so badly.
Mm.
I would do what I had to do and come home and go right back to bed. That was just about it. And emotionally, I was just constantly in tears. I was depressed. I was discouraged. I was like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand it. I'm not that old.
Mhm.
And it was just so hard emotionally. I was the pianist at our church. I had to quit that. And that broke my heart because I loved playing the piano. I love using that gift that God gave me to honor him. And it just, I think emotionally was the hard. I mean, physically it was very hard too, but emotionally, I was just a basket case. It was
Mhm.
really bad.
I can so relate on so many levels. You know my story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities there. And I can remember the moments where you show up and, like you said, you're in bed to the very last minute. For me, it was like the
Hmm.
bed or the couch. I was homeschooling from the
Hmm.
couch. And then I would put a mask on.
Yeah.
I would put on my pretty girl going to church mask and like show up. And people would say, "How are you?" And I'm like, "I'm okay. I'm doing fine." But the reality of it is, I was not okay. I was
Right.
not fine. But I was at the end of my rope where I feel like I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was seeing, like you said, every ologist. I was super clean. I was eating like cardboard at sometimes it felt like 0 calorie and like Christian chicken and all the things. And
Hmm.
it felt like none of it was enough. And I had a
Yeah.
lot more questions than answers. I
Yeah.
love that you shared about the ministry component because I think as women in ministry, that's one of the things that we will push through.
Hmm.
We'll push through and we push through because we love the Lord
Yeah.
and we want to show up and we want to serve and want to give him the very best of ourselves.
Hmm.
But in those moments,
Hmm.
are we really giving him our best?
Yeah. Yeah. I would sit at choir practice playing and just tears running down my face because it hurt so bad to play the piano. I
Mm.
mean, just, it was awful. Ugh,
But
I
God,
can't. Yeah. But God.
but
Yep.
God, right? So that's
Yeah.
not the end of her story.
No, for
That's
sure.
just where it got started. So
Yeah.
from that point until the point that you were like finally figuring out, like, I'm going to start taking charge of my health.
Hmm.
What did that look like? Like, what decision did you finally go with? I'm actually going, your sister is a huge
Hmm.
advocate for women's health and wellness.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
she was advocating for you. I'm sure she was loving
Yes.
you enough to share with you the things she was discovering herself and her own journey.
Hmm.
Amen. For friends who love
Yes.
us enough to reach out, right? And sisters
Right.
who don't quit or give up on us.
Hmm.
So what did it look like? Like you finally get to that point where you're like, enough is enough.
Yeah. I had been for over a year, like you said, every ologist, there was test after test. They gave me medication, and the doctor's like, "Oh, no side effects." Later, come to find out, it kills your brain cells. So
Mm.
I'm like, and it
And we
didn't even
need
help.
those. We need
Yeah,
those.
exactly. I need all of the brain cells I can get. But my sister was she was constantly on me. She's like, "Sis, just try it. Just try." I'm like, "It's not going to work. I've tried everything. It's not going to work." And you were talking about the clean living. I did the opposite. I just ate comfort food because,
Mm.
and that made it worse. And then I gained weight, and then that made me mad. So, but my sister just was constantly loving on me and just saying, "Sis, just try it, try it, try it." And honestly, I finally said yes just because I had nowhere else to turn.
Mhm.
I'd done everything. I had nothing else to do. And part of it was to get her off my back.
I love
So,
that. But she
yeah.
loved you enough that
Yeah.
she wanted to be on a health journey together. And I love that the accountability. I think there's some statistics, and I want to say they're like 80% success rates. Now, don't quote me. You can go
Hmm.
Google it or chat GTP it, GPT, GTP, whatever. You chatty it. I nicknamed my little person Chatty. You can go to Chatty and you can ask them. But the reality of it is, when you have somebody who you can do anything with,
Hmm.
marriage takes two people willing to do the work, right? Friendships,
Yep.
two-sided, not one-sided. All relationships, any kind of journey, business, things like that. When you're starting, it's so important you have somebody that you can bounce off of because some days are
Yes.
gonna be great and fun, and some days are just gonna be hard because that
Hmm.
cheesecake that your boy just made is sitting in the fridge calling your name, and you're like, trying to calculate how much protein is in that because,
Right.
he makes it with a lot of eggs. So does that count as
Yep.
breakfast?
I think so. No, not really.
Maybe. It's still debatable. But I love that she loved you enough to
Yeah.
not quit or give up on you.
Yeah.
You said something interesting was that, I know that we've jokingly, we've talked about this before, but that you were willing to give like this new plan, this new system. You're like, you know what, I'm going to give it 60 days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most people don't even do that. We were
Right.
joking before we
Mm-hmm.
were doing our pre-interview and we said something like, is it day 18 or 19? It's something like International
Like
Quitters
that.
Day
Yeah.
or something.
It's crazy.
People just don't
Yeah.
stick with anything anymore.
Right. And it's funny because through the process, I kept telling my sister, I'm like, it's not working. I'm doing it. It's not working. And she's like, just stick with it. Just stick with it. So that the accountability, you're right, was amazing. And about months, I did stick with it for 2 months and I didn't see a ton of change. But then just gradually, I started noticing probably right around the 2 month, a little bit after, even more so around the 4 month mark. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bed as soon as I walk in the door. I don't have to go to bed. I can actually make dinner. One of the things I couldn't do was even bend over to get my clothes out of the washing machine. That's how much pain I was in. My husband had to do everything. And I realized, oh, I can bend over without being in excruciating pain and get those clothes out. So I think just seeing that change, but it was my mindset too. My mindset changed over that 60 to 90 days, 120-day mark.
I love that. And we've sat in on some trainings and some coaching that we've gotten to do together. The mindset is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I
yes.
really love, there's a couple of lines that I've heard recently that I've really held on to. One is life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. So
Yes.
that takes you out of the victim mindset of everything is happening to me into
Mm-hmm.
victory, which is it's happening for me, so that we
Right.
can flip that switch and we can choose to take it as a lesson to learn something valuable. Or
Right.
maybe God's revealing something. I think so many women can relate. Like I did not always eat clean. That was not a thing. It was out of desperation. My doctors were like, you have food sensitivities and allergies to gluten, dairy, nightshades, like all of these different. And if you keep eating this, it is like suicide in the installment plan.
Mm-hmm.
That just hit me like a ton of bricks. But I needed that. So I
Right.
took it like my life depended on it because it does. It just wasn't immediate overnight. It was like if I don't make a change, if
Mm-hmm.
I don't put me first for the first time in my entire life, above the husband, above the kids, which some women listening to this and going, oh, that was me. I was this
Yeah.
hypercritical, judgmental girl who'd be like, oh, I can't believe you and your husband go on vacations by yourselves without the kids. Who does that? Now I'm like, babe, let's go on vacation. Leave the kids. They'll be all right because you need that, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
The girls that were working, that were walking out, I was like, I don't have the time to do that. But it was that mindset shift that what is important,
Mm-hmm.
you will prioritize. And if it's not important to you, you won't. So instead of
Exactly.
saying I can't or I don't have time, I started saying it's just not important to me. That changed everything. So
Mm-hmm.
those two things, life was happening for me. And if it was a priority, I would make a special time and a slot for it. And if it wasn't, then I learned to say no as well to things that were not suiting me or serving me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So you gave it that 60 days. You
Yeah.
started to change, not just some consistent effort, but I love that we were talking the other day about 4 pillars.
Mm-hmm.
Can you educate us on what the 4 pillars are? Because it's not like you take this magic drink and overnight you lose all this weight or changes everything drastically, or you go on medication or anything. Long lasting, residual effects for health
Yeah.
and wellness. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long journey. It's a day after day thing. It takes more than just one thing. So what are those things for LeeAnn?
So the 4 things that we've been focusing on, my sister and I, we have a little accountability group, and especially this last 3-4 months, we've really been focusing in on nutrition and using ChatGPT
Mm-hmm.
because that has been such a help and it tracks everything for you. Supplements, taking our favorite gut health supplements, being consistent with those every single day, not skipping for any reason. Movement, whether that's walking, whatever, it doesn't matter. I like to walk. So my friend and I walk every day, almost every day at 6 a.m. And then water. And that I love water. I don't drink anything else except my favorite gut health drink. But for some reason, I have a hard time getting it all in. So I've really been focusing in, and I have a cup that I measure. And it's those things all together. Like you said, it's not one magic pill or one magic drink, and it's not overnight. Our bodies didn't get the way they are in 30 days. They're not going to heal in 30. And I'm still on my healing journey, even 4 years later now.
So you have really, really dialed in some things to finish out the year as you start a new season. And what are some of the things that you've been seeing personally as your story and your testimony? So you dialed in your consistency. You improved your water intake to probably about half your weight in ounces.
Yeah.
Right. You got consistent with your supplements. You're using Chatty to help you with your nutrition. LeeAnn has a great prompt for that. So I will get it from her and put it in the show notes for you listening. It is brilliant. You and your sister are absolutely brilliant. I would not have thought to use it like that, but I tried it yesterday and it gave me like a whole little list of things. I was like, oh. And then you reminded me, chat is meant to be nice.
Yes.
So I had to tell it to love me, but still be a little firm, but not rude.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want him to be rude.
So it was perfect. I thought that is brilliant.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to keep moving along. So that chat GTP prompt is going to be in the show notes, so you can take a listen to that. But you said that you believe that if you hadn't started your health journey those 4 years ago, that you would still be bedridden today. What made you realize that? Was there like something that happened that just made you go, oh?
I don't know if there was a specific moment, but I think just the feeling of I can't do things for my family. I can't do my responsibilities. I can't do my job. I can't do my ministry. And it was like, what else? What am I going to do? And I feel like that I realized then if I didn't change and something didn't change, not what because the doctors couldn't help me. If something didn't change, then the rest of my life was going to be the same. And I was like, I don't want that. I know there's got to be something that can help me. And so I don't think, like I said, it was necessarily one thing, but I think just a combination of just realizing, hey, this could be my rest of my life. Do I want to be here? I know after the fact, about a year after, I didn't know this, but my husband actually went to our pastor and he told him, he said, I don't think LeeAnn's going to make it through this. And when I heard that just, my heart, that he was that concerned. And maybe, I don't even know if I realized, how bad I was. I mean, I knew I was, but I think just even hearing that after the fact, again, just reiterated more to me, you've got to change, something has to happen.
I love that. Because I think so many women listening can understand or relate if they've ever suffered with chronic illness or pain, undiagnosed things, or even I had a friend tell me the other day that her symptoms, the doctor she currently has, her symptoms don't mandate them testing her for hormonal imbalance, like her labs. And it, like, I'm not a medical professional. So let me preface this. I'm a mom of 7 kids. Our oldest is 26. I have labored, delivered, breastfed, nursed. I mean, my husband laughs. I have been on my health and wellness journey 7 years. 4 years before that, he's like, babe, you should have a PhD at this point. I don't, but I have life experience. And I have taken a holistic approach, which is mind, body, and soul. And I am a huge advocate for women learning how to advocate for yourself. So she was giving me this thing about how they're just not. And I told her, I said, listen, you need to get a new doctor.
Yeah.
You need to find someone who's going to listen to you and not discount you. So many times I think that we settle just in life on so many different things. We don't hold out for God's best, right? But then there's a point in life, at least there was for me, where I got to the point where I don't want to do good I want to do great.
Yeah.
I want to do what God kind of things. And I need to be prepared, need to treat my body
Right.
like a living temple, which is a lot of work, but like you shared, lifelong. This, I want to be
Hmm.
here for our babies when they're having babies.
Hmm.
I want to be the active, healthy grandma that's able to keep up with everybody, not, I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
When you have been in the trenches and come out and you're feeling so much better, I think that
Hmm.
realization is like you're willing to do the hard, but you also get to choose what the hard looks like.
Right.
And if it's waking up at 6 a.m. and walking with your friend, I bet you get up every day
Yep.
and you walk with
Yep.
your friend because that's your heart.
Hmm.
But
Right.
for some of us, that would be like out of the question. Like, I don't know. I'm not willing to do that. I might walk at 6 o'clock at night. That's okay. But find what works for
Right.
you and then advocate for yourself. If you're listening and some of this is relatable and you don't have doctors that are supporting you, I'm a huge fan of nutritional medicine, functional medicine. Find the doctors who listen
Hmm.
and that sit down and look at you as a whole person. So, talking about our faith, you serving in your church, you're doing the
Hmm.
things, you're in ministry. How have you seen God use your story to impact others in their health or their finances or even in their own spirituality?
I think for just being able to share my story, um, one thing I didn't mention, I was on like 12 prescription meds. I'm
Mm.
down to two, and one of them I'm weaning off of right now. So
Amen.
that's when I tell people things like that, or that I was almost bedridden and things, they can relate to that and they can see, like, oh, there is hope, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been able to encourage people that way, with their finances. It's super easy. You get yourself healthy, you help share it with some other friends, and you can help your finances. And just seeing people that need it, even like right now at Christmas time, everybody needs some extra,
Mm-hmm.
and just that help that I've been able to do there. And then just spiritually, I think that is probably what has meant more to me, because this has become such a ministry, and people that I reach out to, and just people that pour out their hearts sometimes to me. And maybe they never take our gut health supplements, but that's okay,
Mm-hmm.
because if they don't know the Lord, then those gut health supplements are not even important at all, because in the end. So I think with spiritually being able to pray with people, being able to encourage them in the Lord, and help them maybe through a part in their life that nobody else can help them with. Sometimes having a stranger or someone you don't know well is easier to talk to. So I think just all of those things, with this business has given me that opportunity to be able to reach more people for all of those reasons.
I love that you shared that because you started your health journey for you because you
Yeah.
were, yeah, and I think a lot of us do that. I was out of desperation. I had no intention of ever building a business out of it. Um, but then it's kind of inevitable
Yeah.
because you find something you love that actually works and it's
Hmm.
way better than any Target dollar bin deal or Starbucks
Yes.
drink or
Yes.
Timu find or Sheen
Hmm.
thing or, even the nail girl or the hailer girl. We're a culture of
Hmm.
referrers. We
Right.
refer the things we love with the people we love. And so inevitably it can turn into something really beautiful and it
Hmm.
can be whatever you want it to be, which is
Right.
really fun to see unfold and how that has
Hmm.
helped your family.
Yeah.
So, how has being obedient when you chose to walk in obedience to what God was calling you to do? How did that play a role in your journey?
Being obedient to God is many times very difficult. And sometimes he has to, beat me over the head. Not really, um, but I think he's by being obedient, God has started, he rewards that. And sometimes I'm just like, this is too hard. I'm not going to do it anymore. Do I really want to get up out of the bed and take my supplements, or do I really want to message that and God's like, just be obedient. If you can't be obedient in the little things, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to give you bigger things. And I think that's a lesson right now that I'm learning,
Mm.
even as much as, like, and I know this sounds silly, but washing my face at night, I'm so bad about that. And since we now have some new skin health products, that has helped tremendously. But I know this sounds weird, but I do, when I don't wash my face, I get that conviction like, okay, LeeAnn, you're not doing what I told you to do.
It's the little things, right?
It's the little thing. And if I don't do those little things, he's not going to give me bigger things because I can't handle the little things he's given me. So
absolutely. All right, I'm looking up this Bible verse as we're talking because it's like coming to mind. But I was like, I got to tell you. So we're talking about coming into new seasons of life and how you're being obedient. You're walking out the calling that he has for you. It probably doesn't look at all like you thought it would or where you would be at this point in your life, but God, right? So he brings you the things you need and the people you need when you need it the most.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we look at those blessings and those gifts. And I heard a podcaster recently, and she was sharing that if you're not ready for the blessing, it can turn into a curse.
Yeah.
And so it is to be diligent and obedient in the little things, because the way you do the little things is how you'll do the big thing. So that's like simply for me, I remember, I think we've all seen it, and it's the like Marine captain. I hope it's the right military branch, but maybe Navy guy, beautiful suit. And he's talking about making your bed, how you make your bed every day. And the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So when I started hearing that years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do that. And I have done that every day since I've made my bed. And it's so funny because even on the days that Kenny is home and he gets out of the bed later than I do, he does not make the bed. I'm like, dude, what's up? He was like, well, that's your thing. And I was like, well, yes, it is. It is my thing. And there's some days that's crazy and chaotic and everything's going like awry, but I got that one thing done, right? And then you compile those one things on top of another, on top of another. And before you know it, you're getting things done that matter, that are really important.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So how has feeling healthier allowed you to show up differently today for your family?
Well, in a nutshell, I'm just able to be there for them.
Amen.
Because before I wasn't, like I said, I couldn't do the laundry. I mean, my husband was doing everything. He was working full time, then coming home, taking care of me, cooking dinner, doing laundry, everything. And our daughter was home part of that time. So it was very difficult. I couldn't go out with her and do things with her. And, sometimes I would push through, but so it's totally different now. I can do whatever I need to do. And is every day perfect? No, but I would say a total 360 of where I was 4 years ago. And so I think that just being able to do the things with my family and for my family is probably the biggest thing, showing up for them.
That is so funny. I'm not funny you, funny me. This will not be deleted. We're going to leave this in here. So LeeAnn's sharing, and I'm like, I am going to look up this Bible verse. My ADD kicked in. And I'm like, and then all of a sudden my Bible app starts talking to me. And I'm like, nope, that's not the verse I was thinking of. That's funny. No.
That's funny.
But it does align with what we're talking about, because the reality of it is that if you didn't make that change all those years ago,
right,
the question is, where would you be today? And you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And it's one day at a time. It's showing up for yourself, the best version of yourself that you can be. And so as we wrap up today, the last question I have for you is, if you could speak to the LeeAnn all those years ago who was in pain, she was overwhelmed, what would you tell her and how would you encourage her today?
I would tell her, number one, to say yes sooner and to start making changes sooner. But I would also tell her there's hope, because I didn't have hope back then. But there is hope. If you are stuck, if you're hurting, if you're in pain, if you're away from the Lord, if your finances are in trouble, there's hope. There's something there that can help you, and God is there every step of the way. But I think that's what I would tell her.
Amen. Amen. Well, I am so proud of you. This was like, I told LeeAnn, I said, normally we like schedule this out. We have there's a whole speaker packet that goes out. There's a process to being a special guest speaker on Women Around the Well. But as we were having conversations over the last couple of days, I'm like, oh my gosh, LeeAnn, we just got to jump on. We just got to jump on. And you were obedient. You said
Yes,
yes. God stretched you a little bit. Did you have fun?
I did. I really did. And it was a lot easier than I thought. First, I was really nervous, but it
There you
wasn't too bad. It
go.
was fun.
Your
And hopefully it'll
first
help. Yes.
first podcast.
Yes.
Drop the mic.
Yeah,
You
for
killed
sure.
it. And I know
Thank
that there are
you.
women listening that can so relate to your story, and they will leave today feeling inspired and hopeful, even if it's that change for one simple thing in your
Right.
life where you're headed today. So,
Yeah.
as we enter a new season and 2026 is right around the corner here, we want to say, you're welcome. You are welcome here. I think of that song from You're Welcome. Da-da-da-da-da-da, you're welcome. What is that song?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
That's going to bother you all day, isn't
Oh, no. It is so going to bother me all day.
it?
But I won't sit on it on the podcast. We'll make another
Mm,
podcast about that.
yeah.
Listen, perimenopause.
Yes.
You're welcome. You are
Uh,
welcome here. But thank you so much, LeeAnn, for
thank you for
jumping
having
on,
me.
for sharing your story. I know that they will inspire and motivate and encourage women all over to do the very next best thing. So if you're listening, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the preview of season 3 for Women Around the Well. Stay tuned. We're going to have a kickoff. We have more interviews with some amazing women that are doing all sorts of amazing things all around the world. And so thank you. If you held anything that connected with this today, you know somebody that could be encouraged and motivated and inspired, please share this. Like it, love it, share it. Tag us over on Instagram at Women Around the Well. And you can see us on the website, womenaroundthewell.com. We have new resources, tools that are coming up live. So thank you and have a great, blessed day and Happy New Year.
That's it for today's episode of Women Around the Well. I hope you found encouragement, inspiration, and a reminder that you're never alone on this journey. Want to dive deeper? Visit womenaroundthewell.com for additional resources, guest details, episode recaps, replays, and exclusive freebies to support you in faith, wellness, and life. And if this episode spoke to you, feel free to share it with a friend and leave a review. It helps more women find their place around the well. Until next time, keep showing up, keep growing, and keep leaning into grace. We'll see you soon.